The PS4 has a plethora of options for you to dive into if you're looking for games from many different genres. This is my pick of 12 games you should play on your PlayStation 4, and I think there are some in here that you probably haven't heard of. Let's start off with a weird couch co-op, fun multiplayer craziness that is Wand Wars. It's kind of like dodgeball with witches and mages. You're flinging this ball back and forth and trying to attack your opponents. You'll be getting some high adrenaline moments where you're smacking things back and forth and the orb is going so fast and it grows so big, and there's special moves and there's pickups. This is just a fun time. The single player stuff is pretty fun too, but definitely grab a friend or a lover or a family member and smack some balls together. I'm popped on your mind, feeling pretty good. Don't stop it. You know what? Other publishers should copy Nintendo more often. Go all in, do it correctly. This is basically Super Mario 3D World, and that is a freaking awesome game on the Switch. But right here we have Sackboy: A Big Adventure. And this does give the flavor of the previous Little Big Planet games. I know a lot of people were disappointed that it stripped away the level designers and all that jazz, but it still has the feeling of those games. And I really like this game. I think it's a really solid platformer. It's not as speedy, but if you're looking to collect things, find secrets, have a really interesting soundtrack, you're going to really like this game. I was pleasantly surprised how much fun I had with this game, and I played it entirely cooperative with my fiance, so you can't go wrong there if you want another co-op game. Really hoping for another game in this franchise because 3D platformers, gotta love them. Beautiful pixel art and a simple concept. Welcome to RPG goodness in RFL Enhanced Edition. What I really like about this game, it doesn't overstay its welcome. There's enough to do, there's a little side quests here and there, but this is a short RPG experience, and sometimes that's just a blessing. I love me some longer games, but RFL does it succinctly. You got a pretty interesting story about some vampires and these floating islands above, and then you have a wonderful little combat system where your ability to use magic restores after each turn. So you never have to worry about running out of mana or whatever. You can keep using your skills. I like this approach that a lot of indie RPGs are taking, so it doesn't feel like you have to save your best skills for the boss fights. A really solid little indie RPG that I think you should check out.
Welcome, Autobots! You plan to cyberform Earth. I don't plan to do anything. I have already started.
To feel young again, pouring a glass of milk, dunking some graham crackers in it, and watching some good old cartoons.
Sounds like fun.
Transformers Devastation really does feel like you're playing an old school cartoon. The story is just kind of out there, outlandish, but it gets the job done. Platinum Games made this game, and the fighting really shines. I really like the combos you can do. It seems very simple at first, but you start getting upgrades for your different weapons and styles, and you start just getting better and better at the combat. And let me tell you, there's some boss fights that are really difficult in this game, and I only played it on the normal mode, but man, the music starts swelling, you got this awesome rock music. Play this game. It is rock solid. In a fun, cheeky cartoon sort of way. And I've never really been a Transformers guy, but this might make me become one.
What's your mom like?
She works at Umbrella.
So where's your dad?
Setting the standard for remakes, my gosh, is Resident Evil 2 from 2019 a treat to play. I think my favorite thing about it is that it has the essence of the original from the PlayStation, but it changes so much that I feel like you can appreciate both. So you can go back and play Resident Evil 2 on the PlayStation and play this one and feel like you're getting different experiences, but it's kind of cohesive. It's very strange, but there's a time and place for both of these games. This game is awesome. It was probably my favorite game of 2019. It looks gorgeous. It's super campy in the right ways, and it's scary and terrifying, but it feels good to play. And I like when survival horror games feel good to play. I know some people like the weird controls add to the horror, but this one's smooth. I love it. Can't praise this game enough. Definitely check it out if you haven't. Ooh, the amount of pain I feel that this game kind of flew under the radar the year that it came out, 2016. Smushed between Battlefield and Call of Duty. Titanfall 2 is one of the best FPS games out there. Campaign-wise, it is so good. I'm talking level design on par with all the Halo campaigns. The creativity in some of these missions is outstanding. And who doesn't want to control a giant mech and blow things up? Also, you're very agile when you're out of the mech. It's like the perfect balance. So please, if you have written off this game and you're like, I don't care about Titanfall or Apex, go back, play this game. Titanfall 2, it's a winner.
Trust me.
We were once a nation of hope.
You know, I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to be a Final Fantasy 15 defender. And it's really strange because I played this game at launch when it was, I guess, not complete. I've not played the Royal Edition. I've heard some great things about the DLCs and the changes that they added to the base game. But I am going to give you this. Go in with an open mind. It has extremely cool summons. It has some really heartfelt moments throughout the story. The open world design is interesting, but it also has one of my favorite Final Fantasy villains ever. Like top tier, like seriously, might be even my favorite. The motivations, everything of that character really speaks to me. I've really been itching to play through the Royal Edition, so I might one of these years do that, go back to this game, because I think there's a lot to love here. And seriously, I know a lot of you wrote this game off because it's the boy band, but you know, this group of boys, you get some feels going.
Greetings, Cadet. I'm Captain Copernicus Quark, Galactic Ranger Extraordinaire, not to mention Solana Magazine's most handsome man alive. And that puny little furball is Ratchet, who's a lot more trouble than he looks.
Ah, Ratchet and Clank, 2016. I got a lot of games for 2016. Final Fantasy 15, Titanfall 2, now this one. Honestly, I think this is one of the best Ratchet games. A lot of people disregard this one because they're like, it's not as good as the original one. I think it's better than the original one. I don't know what everybody's talking about. It's super funny. It's gorgeous. It's fun to play. It's a very satisfying, rewarding gameplay loop. You use your guns. It slowly upgrades them. You find another better gun. Oh, and then the combo of everything. It's a great 3D platformer shooter. Honestly, I love this game so much. Give it a shot. There's a lot of variety in between exploring the levels. You go into an airship eventually. There's a jetpack. There's a lot of differences from the original game. This is a remake based on a movie, blah, 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 whatever that trailer says. And plus, Captain Quark's hilarious. I don't care what anybody says. Play some Ratchet. This wasn't one of the first indie games I ever played, but this is one of the first ones that really sunk in, that I found on my own with nothing out there. I just saw the cover art on the PlayStation Store at one point and downloaded it, and I love The Unfinished Swan. It's just a really cool concept. It's a first person. You throw ink blots to uncover the path that you're going to walk and traverse around. I think the world building is really cool with what you're trying to find. There's a little nods to some other things. I've never played anything like it, and I don't know if there's anything else like it out there. If you know, let me know down below, because I want more games like this. It's very unique, and this is where indies really shine. They execute on a concept, and it works super well. game. Oh my gosh, this game. One of my favorite games of all time, 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, is a masterpiece. A visual novel adventure style game with RTS elements and a crazy 13 protagonist narrative story that is going to blow your mind. It is insane how you can pick, for the most part, which protagonist you want to start with, and you have dialogue options in the battle mode, and it doesn't spoil the narrative at all, and it does, and it makes you question everything. It has so many awesome sci-fi tropes that work so well in this game. I could go on and on about this game. If you've not given this game a chance, trust me, even if it's outside your wheelhouse, give it a shot. It is definitely worth it. My gosh. I want to experience a game like this again. Please, somebody out there, do it. It could be that this might be the most underutilized PlayStation IP. Man, we need more Gravity Rush. Give me spin-offs, give me a third game. I know the series hasn't sold very well, but this game needs to come back. The movement of this open world, the traversal itself, is so freaking satisfying. I cannot explain it. You have to experience it for yourself. It never got old. I platinumed this game, I 100%ed it, and I still would go around and fly around the city afterwards. I love the main protagonist. She is this kind of ditzy girl, and it's a refreshing take on it, and I like the art style. The combat's pretty interesting. There is so much to love about this game. If you have not given it a shot, please do. I know physical copies are really hard to get of this one, or they've become more expensive, so make sure you pick up and play Gravity Rush, and then work on the sequels. They're so good. They're so good.
Have you ever had a dream where you weren't you? You were someone else?
The number one game on this list, though, is my favorite game of 2021, and that is East 9 Monstrum Nox. And the strangest part about that is I don't think it does anything at a master level. It doesn't have the best graphics. It doesn't have the best storyline. Some of the characters are kind of but everything is elevated so nicely that it doesn't matter. When the story hits right, it hits really hard. When the music is awesome, it hits really hard. When you are flying around this frickin' city, traversing... I really like traversal in games. I'm realizing that right now. Traversing this world and fighting in the combat, switching between characters on the fly and utilizing enemy weaknesses feels so freaking good. I platinumed this game, 100%ed it, and oh my gosh, it is so good. It has one of those gameplay loops that I like. Just like Ratchet before I was talking about in this list, you use a skill, level up that skill, unlocks more skills, and it just kind of gets you sucked into it. I think it's one of the best East games. The East series as a whole has phenomenal games. If you've never tried them, they are one of the best action RPGs out there. Could be the best, but I have to think on that more. Definitely check out East 9 Monstrum Nox and get excited for East 10 down the road.
Monstrum Nox!
There you have it. You got a little taste of some PlayStation 4 games, and you kind of get an insight of what type of games I like to play. If you enjoyed this list, let me know down below what are your favorites from this list and what are your favorites on the PlayStation 4. Give it a like, give it a share. Stick around, maybe I'll make another PlayStation video. This one does pretty well. I enjoyed this. I hope you did too.